Consider the investments in the following assets: brand recognition, inventory, intellectual property, mailing list of clients. How many of the above are considered intangible investments? The question is very simple. Okay, you could use simple logic and common sense. Okay, like I've been telling to my students, the very basic things that are required to attend an economy session, whether GS or optional, I've been telling you my people that mere common sense and some 10th standard math. That's it. So you could apply the same and get the answer for this question. But let me make it the clear definition of asset. So how would you define an asset? An asset is any economic resource that has a potential to generate some revenue, money in the near future, or immediately, or in the near future, or maybe sometime later. That's it. So any economic resource that you own or someone owes to you, you could simply claim it as your asset. But any economic resource that has a potential to generate some money and you owe to others, if you owe to others, you call it a liability. And these assets could be broadly classified into different types. Let's say one common practice as per general accounting, acceptable accounting principles is current assets. I mean, those assets that could be easily liquidated. Let's say someone happened to buy some goods from me on a credit basis, and he made a promise to pay the bill in 2 days or a couple of weeks. And that money I am going to realize is what I'm going to call current asset. The money I'm going to receive, or that asset I could liquidate and result in helping generating some revenue in the very near future, okay, is what I call a current assets. Similarly, financial assets. Financial assets simply refers to the money I invested in stocks or in bonds. Let's say a government bond or a corporate bond. Okay, any such kind of investments is what we call financial investment or financial assets. The other could be capital assets or what you call fixed assets. Fixed assets, like the money you happen to invest on land, building, okay, and plant, machinery. So they happen to be called as a fixed assets. And these fixed assets happens to have a great durability. It does mean they help you generate revenue for a great period of time, longer period of time. And we generally happen to call them as a fixed assets. And the other common classification is intangible asset. So intangibility does mean something you cannot touch and feel, but they happen to be of a great value and helps in generating a good amount of revenue. Now let's look at the first one, brand recognition, or what you call the goodwill in a way. Isn't it? Rouse IAS since 1950. And this has not, this brand value we happen to have, or the goodwill that we really command right now, has not come overnight. It's a great significant contribution made by hundreds and hundreds of people. Isn't it? So that helps in uniquely recognizing my institute from others. Isn't it? So the greater brand value happen to build, or the goodwill that we command. The second is inventory. Okay, so this could have been a potential answer. But inventory, so how would you define a term inventory? The unsold stock. So I produce some 100 goods, but I'm not good enough to sell all the 100 goods or 100 pencils, and I'm left with some 20 pencils unsold. So what am I going to do? In this year, I produce 100 and I happen to sell only 80 out of it. So what am I going to do with the rest of 20? I'm not going to throw. I'm going to keep it for sale for the next financial year. So that unsold stock is what we generally call as an inventory. And that happens to be mostly the tangible assets, and henceforth this could not be. I don't say this is not an asset, but that cannot be an intangible asset. That could be a tangible asset. The third is intellectual property. Intellectual property. So the work of mind, which has this great utility, isn't it? So the books we have published, the material we have prepared, if we happen to avail a copyright on it, that do really has a great potential to help us make good amount of money. So that intellectual property, again, is intangible in nature and it still has a great value. So henceforth, even 3 could be a potential. Mailing list of clients. Okay, because this mailing list, I think you might be aware of the fact these days people happen to say that data happens to be the new form of gold. The one who has more data is more or less seems to have the more amount of gold, because it's as precious as gold in the modern days. Many times you might have experienced wherever you go for shopping, people are more curious in collecting your data rather than selling goods to you. Okay, that would help in potentially providing a connectivity with the clients, and that would help in generating more revenue. Or kabhi you might have received some calls from those people who from those particular shopping malls you have visited. or you might be receiving mails with respect to various promotional offers. And that content and that data I gather is really going of a great value to the seller. And that's the reason even this so-called mailing list of clients, or simply the list of all my clients, happens to have an immense value for the seller or the company. And henceforth, even this could be a part of your potential asset. So henceforth, how many of these four would be categorized as intangible investments or assets is a three, except thank you.